Teachers, an important role for all students in need of an education to pursue a career in their lives. Honestly, I don't like teachers. I'm sorry, I just don't like them. But wisdom, teachers are so helpful. They help you with your work, they teach you new things. What cons do they have that make them so bad? Well, my dear, not all of them fit that description, and I'm here to tell you all about my teachers. So, yeah, that's the gist of today's video. Today I will be talking about the pros and cons of my teachers, starting all the way from first to last period. God, this is going to be a long video. But whatever, let's get started. First period is my math class, and my teacher, we'll call her Miss Box. Now, first, before I list off her cons, let's start off with her pros. I like her hair, I like how she decorated her classroom, and I like the smell of her perfume. Literally everything else is a con. I have way too many examples, but I'll just say a few. So she assigned us too much math work to do on our computers. I remember this one Friday before the weekend, she assigned the whole class like 3 packets to complete, which sucked because one, it was a Friday, meaning that she was basically taking away our free time on the weekend. And 2, I didn't finish one of my packets when she assigned last weekend on Wednesday. Do you know what this woman did? She kept me in her class the whole lunch until I finished it. And before you guys say anything, no, she did not let me go to the cafeteria to get my lunch and eat and work in her class. She kept me the whole lunch, meaning that I was practically starving for 7 hours. I could list more of her cons, but these will have to do for now. Second period, band class. Now, for my band director, we'll call him Mr. Gru. Now, the reason I call him that is because his identification card has a picture of Gru on it. I'm not even joking. Staying on topic, I'll list all of his pros before his cons. Now, his pros are this. He is very nice, he is funny, he cares about his students, he grades people fairly, and he actually seems passionate about being a teacher. Now, his cons. He loses his patience very fast. In the mornings, he's always grumpy, and when he's angry, he's a different person, to say the least. I remember this one kid called someone fat, even though they weren't, and Mr. Gru heard him. Now, instead of sending him to the office or making him apologize like a normal teacher, this is what he said. Did you just say what I think you just said? Well, that fat boy has a brother that is taller than me and stronger than me. You're shorter than a baby. Have you seen his brother? How stupid are you? And he proceeded to call that kid that was saying names an idiot and kicked him out of the class, which was the first time I had seen Mr. Gru angry. It was absolutely terrifying, but also pretty fun to watch, not gonna lie. Third period, language arts. Fourth period, social studies. Now, the reason I listed off 2 of my class periods is because my third period teacher also teaches social studies, meaning both of her classes combined means all 23 of her students stay locked in there for 2 hours straight. Now, for my third and fourth period teacher, let's call her Mrs. Yankees. The reason I call her that is because she is obsessed with the Yankees. Oh my goodness, I have never met someone so obsessed with a baseball team. She hangs up posters in her classroom, she has merch, and one of my friends even told me they saw her watching one of their games on her phone. In the middle of class. I'd say being that level of obsessed is a con. Now, moving on to her other cons. Whenever she assigns us something, it's always due the day after she assigned it to us. Another con is that with the amount of work she gives us for both classes is insane. She just hands us a packet and is like, okay, you have your assignments and textbook, now figure out what to do while I go watch the Yankees for an hour straight without looking away. Like, what? Not only is that a huge red flag, it's also going into the con section. Now that I have listed 3 of her cons, I say we list 3 of her pros. Number 1, even though the amount of assignments she gives us is torture, she is also very funny, and she also lists what we have to do on the board when we get lost in our a million assignments. Number 2, she always gives us free time if we surprisingly manage to complete all of our assignments. And last but not least, number 3, She was always willing to help us with other classwork and explain it better than she does with the classwork she gives us, which is very nice of her. But sadly, she is retiring this year, and after grinding for money at the school for like 30 years, and she will be missed. I will always miss whenever she yells, "Oi, oi, oi," after telling us to finish our work. But yeah, round of applause for Mrs. Yankees. 5th period, dance class. We will call my dance teacher Mrs. Saucecan. Now, Mrs. Saucecan is a very sweet teacher that has fun cooking up our dances that we can perform at our concerts, which is an immediate pro. Her other 2 pros are she has extreme long-lasting patience when it comes to teaching us, and it's very helpful if needed. And her last pro is she doesn't have much rules in her class, unlike some people. The only rules are no gum, no shoes in the room. We leave them outside, by the way. No toys, and no talking while the teacher is talking. When the teacher isn't talking, she lets us yap our butts off as much as we like. Now let's move on to her cons. Now, remember when I said she had extreme long-lasting patience? Well, that patience tends to wear off the closer we get to our concerts. Her second con is talking too much while she's talking will get you kicked out of the room. Like, what? Luckily, I've never been kicked out of the room, but the total students that have been kicked out are like 3. And her third con is saying the word skibbity gets you sent to the office? Honestly, I always thought that brainwash words were dumb as heck, even though I also use them too. I'm a hypocrite for real. But getting sent to the office for saying a word is wild. But overall, Mrs. Saucecan is a very sweet teacher. 6th period, math TI. Now, I could have just skipped over this one, but I know people in the comments would be like, "Why did you skip 6th period?" It's because my 6th period teacher is my 1st period math teacher. We just do more work in this class, to sum it up. Well, I have already gone through the pros and cons of Mrs. Box, so I'll just skip to my next class. 7th period, art class. Now, my art teacher, I'll just call her Mrs. Allison. Now, I'm going to start with her pros and then cons. Her first pro is that she lets students play games on the computers instead of doing art, even though art is the point of the class. Her second pro is that she lets us have our phones in class even though it's punishable by suspension. I don't know why. Like, I remember that one time I was in class and I was so bored that I hopped on my phone to play some Block Blast. And Mrs. Allison caught me. All she did was look at me, straight face, and said, "Finish your game," and put the phone away. In the most nonchalant voice ever. I was expecting some beating from the teacher instead of this. Her third pro is she doesn't care about the students that shit talk. I remember I was talking shit about someone with my friend and she was behind us helping another student. She heard us too. She just turned around, raised her eyebrow at us, and turned back around. Like, I would be telling her the juiciest tea that happened at recess and she never tells anybody or even interrupts me. And now, finally, let's move on to her only con. Being too chill. 8th period, science class. My science teacher, who we'll call Miss Strawberry, oh my god. I have tried so hard to like this woman. Not only is she rude, she puts a lot of pressure on her students. And even though she was always nice to me, I just hated her. Because she has made so many people cry for dumb reasons. And having your phone in your water bottle pocket in your backpack is punishable in her room. With a referral to the office, your phone confiscated till the end of the day, and your grade being moved down. What the hell kind of rule is this? Now, I have already listed all of her cons. If you're waiting for me to list her pros, let me just do that real quick. Oh, wait. There are none. Holy, this was a long video to make. Honestly, it was really painful for me. I had really bad back pain yesterday. Probably because I'm getting old. But yeah, that was today's video for today. Please expect newer uploads in the future, but just if they take long, don't be surprised. My posting schedule is really inconsistent, more inconsistent than my sleeping schedule. But whatever, I'm just here to make you guys laugh. Please let me know what I should do next. I don't have any ideas for my later upload right now, so suggestions would be really nice. Yeah. I hope you guys liked today's video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.